Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining us today on the Crypto Wave podcast, where we keep you up to date on the latest news, trends, and people that are making waves in crypto. I'm Jennifer from Space Coast Crypto Consulting, and joining me here today, I have my co-hosts, Jesse and Joey.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Or evening, morning, whenever you're reading us, watching us, snoozing, whatever the hell you're doing.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Hope it's great.
Yes, so as a reminder to make sure that you get all of our new updates, make sure you hit the notification, subscribe, and the bell notification to be alerted whenever we put out new content.
That's right.
Greatly appreciated.
And remember, you know what we haven't mentioned?
What?
Is that this is for fun. We're not giving out any financial advice.
Oh, disclaimer.
We haven't given that disclaimer in a while.
Right.
And we need to do that.
For entertainment purposes only, please do not go out there and buy, purchase, sell, or anything else. Don't refinance your house, even though Joey may or may not. Just talk to a professional before any business
Call
decision.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Yes, if you're interested in learning how you can buy, sell, and store your crypto assets safely, you can contact me, spacecoastcryptoconsulting.com. I'll be happy to help.
Absolutely. Have we not had some fun the last couple of weeks on this show? Has this show not taken a different direction each week?
Every week, yeah.
It's just been amazing.
Totally unscripted.
Unscripted.
Yeah.
It just takes its own direction. We've been just having so much fun. It's just been dynamite. And we have a couple of guests coming up later.
Well, yeah.
Show.
I mean, probably right away, because we're going to jump into the topic.
Yes.
And it's
So blockchain is disrupting every single industry. So making waves in the crypto industry. We're going to introduce our guests. They were here last week from TIME DAO. So the co-founder of TIME DAO, David, and then the chief marketing officer, Alex, joining us here today to discuss decentralization and pretty much how blockchain is going to disrupt every single industry and how some people should be scared or excited.
scared or excited. That's a question.
That's a question.
Welcome to the show. Alex,
guys.
David, how are you?
Welcome aboard.
Hi guys.
Welcome
Thanks
aboard.
for having us. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Of course. How we're both Montreal, correct?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys
Right in the heart of Montreal.
you guys excited for the autumn weather to return?
It's probably snowed
Well,
already.
the leaves, the color of the leaves changing is pretty cool.
Already?
What comes after is a bit less cool.
Right.
Not so much, yeah.
You know, I'm a Ranger fan. I have to tell you, I'm a Ranger fan, not a Canadian fan. I have to tell you, just right off the bat. Sorry.
We got in second place, so
Don't mess with these guys as a hockey.
I know. They invented the game.
That's hockey country up there.
I know.
All right. Decentralization.
Yes. So decentralization is basically removing one central entity as being in control of making decisions. So when we talk about decentralization, what does that mean to you guys?
Me personally or them?
Them.
David, you first. What is decentralization to you?
Well, for me, decentralization means the power is distributed. Basically, that's what it means for me. So it means more, less manipulation and more stability of a network. Because with decentralization comes also the notion that you can't alter or change data very easily. It needs a lot of power to do that on a decentralized network, where it's pretty easy and straightforward to do it on a centralized network.
Now, is blockchain and decentralization, is that something that will benefit every industry, or are there some cases where blockchain technology and decentralization wouldn't work well? It's
definitely.
there's so many people building these really cool things, but some things it's is there really even a use case for it?
Well, often to answer that question, Jennifer, by the way, that's a great question. So blockchain essentially is a technology that enables decentralization because it lets people create systems that don't rely on middlemen. And so pretty much any industry today, or almost any industry, has a middleman who in some sort of way takes either a commission or has some power over the system, which is today not necessarily needed thanks to blockchain. So I believe, I strongly believe personally that most industries, and we're going to talk about it today on the episode, but that definitely most industries may be completely disrupted by blockchain.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. I mean, so the middlemen are like people that help to facilitate the transaction. So they're taking fees basically in between putting like peer-to-peer together or business to customer together. And what is going to... So there are going to be a lot of jobs that are disrupted. So there will be... how can these businesses continue? Are they going to have to change their model, their approach to things?
Let me jump into that. First, I would have to bring another concept into play here. The concept of transparency. That's what blockchains brings. Mostly, it's transparency. It is the ability to verify or to see publicly transactions, and at the same time not being able to modify them in any way. So if you are a company and you have an accounting software, and that records all the transactions you do with clients and other businesses and stuff like that. So when you get to do to be audited by the government, you have to show your books, and those books can be and we've seen that with banks. Those books can be modified and crooked or tampered with. It is not possible with blockchain. That's one of the main components that the blockchain brings in. The infalsification of the data, of the string of data, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if it is altered, then it's really easy to see if there has been a break in the chain. Like, it's very easy.
Oh, you can't alter it. You definitely can't. Technically, you would have to control more than 50% of the computers that works for this blockchain, which is, for a small blockchain, it's not very complicated or very costly, but for bigger blockchain like Ethereum or Bitcoin, it's you're talking about like computing power that reaches like millions and millions of dollars to be able to take control of these blockchains. So it's not necessarily jobs that gonna be lost. It's more the way we do things is gonna change, and it's gonna be more efficient and transparent.
Okay, so it'll just be better for the people all around. Yeah.
And to follow up, sorry, I'm gonna cut you off, but to follow up on that, like David says, that not many jobs are really gonna be changed. Well, I think otherwise, because we're talking about blockchain. We talked about middlemen really quickly. And if those middlemen that are no longer necessary and that they're just putting some pressure on a negative way on the system, I believe that some of these middlemen, when they wear off, when they no longer exist, some jobs are going to be lost. And we could talk about banks and later on. But I'm curious. What about you guys? What do you guys think about the future of jobs with blockchain?
It might open up new markets as well as these as it opens up. I look at it as some jobs may change, just like any market changes. You're going to see new markets opening up as well as old business and new business. So it's almost like a metamorphosis of things just evolving. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Things will just evolve as as it's creating itself, in with the new. I mean, in with the old and in with the new. So we might things are going to change, and business models will have to change with it.
Yeah, I think business models, like as far as maybe the people, they'll be used more as customer service, so to be more like pleasing the customer, and that's how they can kind of evolve. Like you'll be paying for that customer service.
Well, that's a service that's been lost a long time ago. So
Yeah.
Customer service has been that's a lost art.
No kidding. We've gone on that a bunch of times.
No, I know.
But yeah, I mean, I think with all new opportunities, there's always a need for there's always a new demand. So it made me, someone may just need some more skills or a new skill set. So maybe just training, or But I think humans by nature adapt. There's a lot of people who got kind of like I don't want to say bought out, but they almost they couldn't keep up with the Walmarts. So you had the country store, you had this store, you had the farmers market, and then of course a big box like a Walmart or something would come into an area, and then those same people would shut down their business and then go work for the Walmart, go work for the monster, and instead of having their own produce stand, they're working in the produce department, and so they have the same skill set, but now they're going from their own little enterprise into now being incorporated and absorbed into a much larger. And I think of that kind of analogy with blockchain as well. I mean, if you're used to sitting at a desk and computing and helping to transfer things, and whether it's a mortgage or whatever else, or doing different financing, I think that's still going to be needed, but you may not have to work at a branch of a bank. You may just be able to do it from home. So I don't see a big disruption. I don't see people absolutely losing their livelihood. I just think they're just going to have to migrate from what they've been used to into the demand of what's next.
Yeah, so it'll be like a upskilling.
Yeah,
and it'll be an evolution through time.
Upskilling, evolutions, more training. But I think I think the biggest thing that we could look forward to is a lot less commuting to offices and more like working from home. I think that's a big benefit, because without decentralization, or with decentralization, you can work for a Chinese bank in America. You don't have to work just for a product here based in the States. If Canada, for instance, if you guys, TimeDAO, you guys get to such a point, and you start finding talent in Thailand and Korea and China and
Melbourne, Florida,
maybe all over Asia. You're not going to discriminate because because they're coming from another office job or another skill set. You're still going to need them because they speak the language there locally. They could help interpret. They could offer a different kind of service based on what they've already done. So if they've been in customer service, if they have a clientele that maybe that they could bring over to your product or whatever else, you're still going to need those people are still going to be in demand. I don't think there's going to be a loss. I just think there's going to be more opportunity.
I think you're creating a stronger niche is what you're doing. You're just enhancing the niche that's already been developed.
Well, I also think that and I also think they're going to become a little bit more. How do you say? You say niche. I think they're going to have a little bit more of a even more hyper focused skill set.
So like more of a definition.
So if you're working in a bank, for instance, and you're handling cash and writing money orders and taking deposits for loans or whatever else, it's going to be that kind of same thing. But instead of all these products, you're going to just deal with one product, and that's what you're going to specialize in. And I think so you're going to see specialized skill sets and less broader, work kind of methods and modalities.
I think you're going to see a redefinition. I see that happening.
Yeah.
So, okay, you brought up the banks. Mm-hmm. So right now they're currently building a whole decentralized financial system, basically building traditional banking services, but using these decentralized systems known as DeFi. So in DeFi, do you think that the banks are going to it's going to be like a swap out of traditional banking services, or are the banks going to join forces with these like DEXs and decentralized exchanges?
That's a great question. I want to hear from these guys.
David, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think first of all we have to think about the customer. So many people still need banks. Many people are not comfortable with crypto. We are obviously the five of us, but many people think it's not trustworthy. So banks they fulfill this role of holding like the trust of people. They're supposed to be trustworthy. We know it's not the case, but for many people it is. It is very reassuring to go in a place of business and then talk to somebody and be able to see that the transaction has been completed and everything. So that's a very human to human feel and thing that many people needs. For the DeFi stuff right now, what I see is a lot of products and a lot of different things, different way of doing things, and different and honestly complicated stuff. Not necessarily knowing what to trust, what it is a scam or stuff like that. So I think probably, and you were talking about adaptation just earlier, and probably banks are going to understand that they need to adapt, and DeFi is gonna many companies in DeFi are going to understand that they can't be just like cowboys running in the wild. They need to be more stable for people to trust them and to go mainstream. So I can see like a kind of a merging of those two way of doing things, and then after a kind of a combined evolution towards something that is, and like at the heart of it, it's like I think greed as a big part of a big thing to do in there. So probably we'll see a lot of mixed solutions, like half decentralized and half centralized, because people really want to control where the money goes, and that's not gonna change that quick. So very combined environment, I believe.
Well, we're already seeing companies like JP Morgan, for example, with the JPM coin, where they have developed their own blockchain for facilitating like transactions in between from institution to institution. And even though like in the mainstream media, there's a lot of pushback from a lot these credit card companies and all of these banks, like they're all getting patents. Like Bank of America has like the most patents for cryptocurrencies, and working on blockchain technology themselves. So they're getting ready.
Yeah, and that's a matter of as you said, getting ready, getting first, getting like the biggest market share you can. So you tell the public that it is not safe until you tell them it's safe. But basically what those banks are seeing and realizing that there is a lot of value in those solutions. There is a lot of power in those solutions. Like banking system is very bulky and slow and expensive as well. So there is a lot of power, and they see it, they can recognize it, and that's why they are getting ready.
So using it,
go ahead.
I'm just going to jump in. Using that analogy for like say your local bank, because I think for most consumers, for most laymen out there who are just they're like, what is this DeFi? Why am I watching this? These five heads on the screen are so confusing. So that's why I always bring it back to like the branch level, to where people are used to, going to your ATM, going through your teller, through the drive-through and either withdrawing or depositing money, the simple transactions. Well, I think there's just going to be another opportunity for these branches, right? They're going to have a crypto consultant. So you're going to go in and just like you would say, well, what do I do with my retirement money? How do I get money out of my 401k or IRA and roll it over to one of your products? There's going to be a crypto consultant at these branches, and you're going to be able to walk in and you're going to say, what can you tell me about, for instance, the JP coin? You go to your Chase, bank, and you're going to go, how do I roll over, instead of a CD or money market or these other kind of products that we've known, last 30 years. It's just going to bring another kind of fold into it. So I don't see branches go anywhere. I just think they're just going to evolve and now, maybe help. Since PayPal, you could buy crypto through there, and all these other platforms. They all want you to use them for the crypto purchasing. Go ahead.
I see a major issue with that, and maybe it's I can see beyond the issue, but
Sure.
the issue is what DeFi offers and what the banks offers in terms of API. It's day and night. Like your bank will offer you, I don't know, like
0.06.
a year or something like that. I can go in like the first DeFi platform I find and find you 7%. And if I look and take a bit more risk, I can find you 20%.
Mm-hmm.
So the bank can't compete against that. And the reason why the bank offers so little return is because they pocket all of it. They pocket, they do the same 20%, but they are going to pocket 19.5% and give you 0.5%. So that's the issue. That's why I think the banks are pushing back right now.
So it's just greed, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good old boy network.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anytime money has been able to be manipulated, it's been manipulated.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a currency out there that has, in through time, that hasn't absolutely been able to be compromised.
Yep, diluted whenever you manipulate the supply.
I mean, except for
it's the same for a crypto actually. It's not directly manipulated, but from the outside, through media and stuff, it is.
And to maybe continue on that, because I find that discussion about banks very interesting, because as we see right now, we're kind of like in the middle where we don't know if banks are about to go all in on crypto, or they're gonna try to really push back on it, because they're buying, they're selling, they're buying, they're selling, they're publishing FUD articles and then FOMO articles the next week. And so we see that in certain banks, and I think you mentioned JP Morgan, there's kind of like we feel that there's a resistance from a bunch of banks that they don't want to commit to crypto right now. They kind of like don't want things to move too much. But because of course, crypto makes them in certain ways lose market share. Being bankless is getting kind of more trendy. Exactly. and we're going to talk about that. But I also wanted to talk about the CBDCs, because these coins that countries are issuing for the general population to use, the digital yuan in China that they started to talk about. And that's one of the ways that the banks can take advantage of the rise of crypto while they lose some market share, because they get more data on transactions that they have within their country. So yeah, well, of course, I think Joey, you kind of like the point about being bankless and all that stuff. So I'm gonna let you follow up on that.
No, I'm just saying. I think that I just think these banks are.
Well, I could follow up. I have a theory.
No, I do.
I mean, let's be honest. When JP Morgan, when all the other big ones, Bank of America, when they all give the green light,
they're all in.
No. Let me finish, Joey.
Okay.
You never let me finish.
I know.
This guy.
Tag team.
It's going to give the validity the crypto space needs. And and then by then, if JP Morgan just today or whoever else, all these big bankers, Goldman Sachs, if they go, you know what, this is legitimate. We're going to have 30% of our, portfolio in crypto. Well, guess what everybody else is going to do? They're all going to go in, and it's going to be too late for then those big guys to get in there when it's still, a Shibu with, 5 zeros in front of it or anything else. Everything is going to be like 1-to-1, like overnight. Everybody's going to be into it. Everybody else is going to follow suit. All the other little, purchasing houses, all the other hedge funds, they're all going to get in because now they got the validity. I mean, that's certifiable. When JP or Goldman Sachs says this is legit, we're going to do it. We're going to, take our bonds holdings and wrap them into crypto, guys. And then it's going to be too late.
So
there's no way to manipulate it after you give the green light.
It's so early in the market now. I mean, we don't even have clear regulation. So once we get that, and once we get those big people jumping in, then it's going to be crazy. So right now we all have this huge, massive opportunity that's like flashing right in front of our face that we get to front run and have this competitive edge into the digital economy.
And that's why the banks are pumping the brakes, because they don't want everybody to get in until they're able to secure how they want to funnel their their customers into it. Like now that we gave the green light, now now they're going to have the opportunity to buy crypto, through their platforms. So now they could get a piece of it, because they're just not going to give anything certifiable like thumbs up until they're able to manipulate it in their benefit.
Oh well, exactly. I think also. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think if you take that way, this is the first time the average guy has a lead on the banks, where the average guy can take advantage of the lead.
Yeah.
Where before, which is exactly what you're saying. So many people, and that's where that whole, even with the stock market, when you look at what Robinhood did with the AMC stock, and they beat the hedge funders. They're like, wait a minute. How'd this guy sitting in mommy's basement, how'd they beat us?
Well, let's be honest.
They beat them at their own game.
They all want to be Wells Fargo. If we all know the stories of Wells Fargo, when everybody went west to go find gold, well, guess who offered a protected wagon to take it back to the cities, back to Chicago, back to New York? It was Wells Fargo and their coaches. They still use the logo with the horses and the wagon, because they provided the protection to now take your wealth. They weren't in the digging business. They were into protecting in the movement of the money and the value of the precious metal. That's how Wells Fargo. I mean, and they're all playing by the same playbook, guys. They're all letting us be the pioneers, taking all the risk, moving our whole family across the country, digging into all these different pockets of wealth, and then they're going to be like, okay, well, you want to protect that? You know what I'm saying? They're looking at the big macro view of it. Okay, and that's how they're going to want to gain control. They're not going to be the little player day trading. That's for us little minions. They want to protect us. They want to sell the products and services that when we do buy, it's got to go, it's $2 to them. It's when we sell, it's $2 to them. They want to be the middleman collecting on all the transactions. That's how they do business.
Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to find their angle, and they're working with regulation as well to contain this movement. But what I think is giving us like little guys an edge is decentralization, because before they could flat out manipulate whatever they wanted to, but now it's like the transactions themselves are on a level playing field, so nobody can tamper with them. And that I think is a huge improvement from the previous system where the books were written and possessed by bankers.
So now we'll be able to have a real light into what is actually happening. We'll be able to see what's actually happening. Yeah, that's very powerful.
Exactly.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to go more into depth on some fun industries that are going to be affected by blockchain.